The long-awaited Xenoverse crossover LR is almost here, but should you summon for Ultra Supervillain God Vegeta? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We got another Dokkan Battle video for you here today. We have the upcoming LR STR Super Saiyan God Ultra Supervillain Vegeta, and in this video we will be answering that age-old question: should you summon for the upcoming unit? As always, in order to answer that question, we will take a look at three major things. Number one, we'll take a look at the unit itself. Is the unit good enough to justify a summon on their banner? Next, we'll take a look at the banner itself, right? Is the banner going to be good enough to justify a summon? What will be on that banner, and will it be good enough if you invested stones in there, worthy of your stones? Now, finally, we'll take a look at what lies ahead should you decide to dive in this banner. What are you giving up in the near future? So first off, let's start by looking at the character himself. So he is a crossover character with the game Dragon Ball Xenoverse. As such, he will lead the crossover category for and Vegeta's family for HP 200%, attack defense 170, and additional 50% for time travelers and Realm of Gods. Highly limited leader skill, but can do some pretty good workarounds. In his base form, which is his Ultra Supervillain form, he can activate it when you have a Realm of Gods or crossover ally on the team. It gives him a chance for one critical hit and damage reduction rate for 30% for 3 turns, and a permanent defense 300%. Gives him. He also has Key 5 up to 10 randomly, attack and defense 350%. Damage reduction rate 30%, launches an additional super attack. When all allies are crossover, he gets an additional 30% before attacking. This kind of allows him to be a pseudo slot 1 unit. When attacking with 18 or more key, he gets attack defense 250%, attack 100%, and disables enemies guard with 1 or more STR keys for obtained. After receiving an attack, he launches an additional super attack. After the enemy launches a super attack at him, he launches another additional super attack. He does have an active skill that can be activated when there's another Realm of Gods or crossover ally attacked in the same turn, or a crossover Realm of Gods enemy starting from the 4th turn from the start of battle. Otherwise, from the 6th turn. It will awaken him into Super Saiyan God and remove all negative effects, which is a really cool ability, by the way, and increase attack and defense for the turn by 50%. His 18 key is massively raising his attack and defense, while his 12 key is greatly raising his attack. Once transformed into Super Saiyan God, he gains key 10, attack defense 350%, damage reduction rate 30%, and launches an additional super attack while randomly changing the key spheres of a certain type to rainbow. When you have crossover Realm of Gods ally in the same turn, he gets a damage reduction rate 30% before attacking and launches an additional super attack, as well as getting a permanent defense raise. Now, I know a lot of people were confused on this, where if this activates, does it activate every turn like Goma's ability? I do not believe so. We'll know more. We'll know for sure when the data download hits. We can actually test them out. But the way it's worded, I do not believe this is works the way Goma is. So this isn't stacking up every turn. It just, once you have a crossover Realm of Gods, you now have a permanent 300% buff. He also gets 250% when attacking with Hope or more key, attack defense. He also gets an additional attack 100% and disables enemies guard with 1 or more SCR or rainbow key spheres obtained. After receiving an attack, he launches an additional super attack, chance for a critical hit 30%. For 6 turns, he has a chance for a critical hit, damage reduction rate 30%, and nullifies negative effects when there is another crossover category ally attacking in this turn. Which is really cool, right? So this means he's not affected by like key lowering. He can't be stunned. He can't be sealed. Can't be attack defense lower. It's just a really cool ability to have, honestly. And then finally, starting from the 7th turn from the start of from his entry turn, he has defense 150%. So the reason I bring this part up as being really good is, like, we all know, like, one of the hardest hitting fights in the game is Bio Broly. Bio Broly stuns. Theoretically, he could with the proper support, could tank a Brile Broly Super, which means if you made it to turn 4 and you transformed him, you could slot 1 him, and it probably be okay. Like, I don't know that you would. There are probably better options, but you could do it. So there is that. So all in all, as a unit, I think he is good enough to justify summon. If you summoned on his banner, it should be worth your stones. You're gonna have a decent character to work with here. Even if you don't have a full crossover setup, you can easily just run the dude on Realm of Gods and him be more than fine. Now, with that said, of course, he's not alone. He's gonna be on a banner. So let's talk about that banner. So we got 1 in the summon. So let's talk 1 summon for the unit itself, but let's talk about the banner. So we already know 2 for sure characters that are going to be on the banner: the Toa and Mira, and the Trunks. And both of these guys, they seem all right. They're pretty much standard banner unit level, nothing too crazy. The Trunks honestly does look pretty good for the crossover setup. These guys, I think I need testing with them. I have to see how fast they stack, right? They are a stacking character. They both provide pretty insane support for the crossover team, but they are heavily limited to that team. So it would definitely have to see how they stack, but they're not bad. And of course, they are not going to be the only ones on this banner, and that's where things get a little tricky for this banner recommendation, because we have 2 options here. One option is that they go the standard crossover routes, and we get something similar to the Dragon Ball Heroes banners, right, where it is a crossover summon and the only featured characters are crossover characters, including your non-featured characters, and it is a guaranteed featured multi for every multi. This would put them on a blue coin banner instead of your standard Dokkan Fest red coin banner. And that's not out of the realm of the possibility, right? He does have a Dokkan event, and most of your major heroes Dokkan Fests, even though they're not Dokkan Fests, do have Dokkan events, right? This guy has a Dokkan event. Vegeta has a Dokkan event. The previous Vegeta, right? He has a Dokkan event. Trunks has a Dokkan event. So, I mean, these guys have Dokkan events. So, I mean, it's not entirely impossible that this is the option, right? This is honestly best option for this to happen for them, because I know, right, it is a crossover unit. There's a lot of, there's a lot of worry about how crossover is going to be handled in the future. So this is best case scenario. The other case is that this is actually our Golden Week banner, and we're just getting it a week early. And so this is taking the place of what would normally be a dual Dokkan Fest, right? In which case, because it is replacing as an LR, I imagine it'll be something similar to Majin Vegeta's banner, right? So you'll have your new unit, 2 new banner units, and then a bunch of random units to fill. Now, if it is a Dokkan Fest banner, I would expect pity, and because he is a single LR by himself, we're probably going to see the 300 coin pity like we saw with Majin Vegeta. I hope not. I hope they drop it down to 200 since it is a crossover character, like they did for Gohan when he replaced the August celebration. But who's to say? All right, we can't really know until it happens. But I do think that this is one option here where this is replacing the Golden Week banners. So those are the 2 options we go out, right? Again, and if it is crossover, very likely we have guaranteed featured. And if there is guaranteed featured, I do think it'll be interesting to see how they handle it, because the last time we had a guaranteed featured banner was the manga units, and they still had a form of pity. So it's possible we can still get a form of pity. We'll know for sure once the data download hits. But I don't think either way, neither of these really affect the overall recommendation I'm going to make, right? Because this banner, right, regardless, if it ends up being crossover, this is who you're going to see on the banner, right? You're going to see characters like, you're probably not going to see the heroes characters, but you're probably going to see AGL Trunks. You're probably going to see Toa. You're probably going to see Demigra, Fizz Mira, and the Fizz Zeno. Like that's probably your banner if it's a crossover banner. So like it's not going to be anything crazy. So I imagine if they do go the guaranteed featured route, you know, it's not like it's changing the overall value of the banner itself. And if they do the Dokkan Fest route, where this is replacing Golden Week, then it's likely we'll see Baby return on this banner, right? Because he's the last unit who hasn't returned yet. Otherwise, yeah, there's probably, I mean, I don't think it changes the overall recommendation that I'm going to make, which is banners aren't going to be that great. So probably no for the banner itself, unless it is crossover and you really need and or want the crossover. But the overall recommendation for the banner is probably it's not going to be that good. Now, with that said, the next thing we have to worry about, right? So, is what comes next, right? Let's say, right, we summon on this banner. What are we giving up in the near future? Let's say we decide that banner's fine. We like the unit. We're going to summon. What are we giving up in the near future? Well, obviously, the first thing is we'll be giving up the possibility of a Golden Week summon, right? We are still unsure, and we probably won't be sure until next week if there is still going to be a Golden Week campaign to fill this. I'm kind of leaning towards this is the Golden Week campaign because there is a surprise. The way the news was structured for the reveal today would seem to indicate that this is going to be a full-fledged campaign. Now, and not to say that they can't have the campaign coincide with something else, but I don't know if I would take that risk of jumping in here knowing Golden Week could be on the horizon. That said, Golden Week does return during GDC, so the worst thing in the world if you decided to skip Golden Week for this guy. But just be aware that that could be what's next. Otherwise, we have the June Dokkan Fest. Last year, that was Tao. Could be anybody this year. Not really that relevant. What's really relevant here is the next big thing you're giving up after June, which is the Transcendent Dokkan campaign. We know as of Saiyan that they did shift how they wanted to handle the schedule. So we are shifting back to having Transcendent Dokkan campaign. That is Tanabata campaign in July, replacing Global's anniversary. Last year, that was Global Dokkan campaign, but this year they are shifting that a little bit. Where GDC will be happening further in September. So it doesn't seem like a big deal shifting them, but it does affect the overall stones that you're going to have available by either point. So it's definitely going to be... Summoning here is definitely jeopardizing your GDC stones, which is probably where you're going to want to spend the bulk of the stones that you're going to have. That you've been building up since the anniversary, maybe Saiyan Day, of those of you who summoned on Saiyan Day. So knowing that those are the things that are coming ahead, right? I don't know that I can fully recommend summoning yet for the Vegeta. Even if you got a full-blown crossover campaign, we just easy-ate the crap out of everybody here on the crossover, all the heroes that are due, right? Not these guys, but this batch. And this batch of heroes, let's just say they just chuck all of them into an easy A batch. They're all good. They're all usable on his team. I still don't think I would recommend summoning for him in place of saving for GDC. But that's just me. I will have a video coming out later where we tally up all of the stones available from now until GDC. I kind of want to get a count of the stones that are coming through this campaign first before I release this. And then we'll give the count as of May until September, how many stones you can get. But regardless, right, you want to be saving all those stones. You don't want to be using them for this guy here. So unfortunately, the way this worked out is one for the unit, none really for the banner, and none really for what lies ahead. There's just too much at stake to be jeopardizing your GDC stones. Of course, as always, if you like the unit, if you like using crossovers, right, and you like the feeling of a guaranteed featured multi, if that's end up what you get in, then by all means, summon on what you enjoy. But if you're trying to plan out your year and save accordingly for those major celebrations, this one's definitely probably gonna be a skip. It's just unfortunate timing. Now, I will say that if this is the replacement for Golden Week, then there is a very high likelihood he will return on GDC banner, which makes sense. Especially if GDC ends up coinciding with, especially now that we have the shift, if GDC ends up coinciding with the re-release of Dragon Ball Broly, right? This dude would have a new God Goku to work with. So, it could be all right. So that is my recommendation. Unfortunately, this is one of those few banners where I do give a no summon. I can't even tier it on this one. We're coming off the back of some major celebrations, and we really need to start saving. So unfortunately, this one is a no summon. I will post a pinned comment if we get an update, when we get our update with the data download tomorrow, with any info about there being pity or no pity. But as of right now, we don't know if there's pity, and we don't know if there's guaranteed multis. Either way, it doesn't change the overall recommendation I'm going to make, though. So that's why I'm putting out the video a little bit early. So, guys, that's it for the video. If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, will you be summoning for Ultra Super Saiyan God Vegeta? Let us know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.